Whether it's first place or last across the line, we all get the same medal. That can't be said, though, for the entire experience for all participants on the field. Kristian, in her story, highlights the importance of supporting every runner in their journey, no matter the time. She often represents, both as a participant and as a volunteer, the importance and value of supporting everyone's finish. Let's jump right in. One thing I've always admired about you is how much work you do, of course, in the running community, but you have a passion for those in the back of the pack. And you've always emphasized not only in how you present yourself in terms of encouraging others to finish the race no matter what, you yourself has been in that position to where you may be the last one to finish, but it stresses the importance of when you start something, you follow it through to the end. So my word for you was finish. So the question I have to you is, what does finish mean to you, and how has that impacted you in your running and walk journey?
Oh, wow. So that's pretty deep. So I will say this. It hasn't always been a consistent piece of my life. And I did have like a little situation in which I did have a DNF, and it never went through the right way that it should have come across for folks because they didn't let anybody process it. But I say all of that to say, coming through that, you see who's on your side and believes in the truth, and who likes to follow gossip, right? And I say all of that to say is that when it comes to the community, you want to be better sometimes for you, but you also want to be better sometimes for others. And it kind of parallels together. So to me, it's important that I've never wanted to not finish something. And the reason why is it's never easy regardless of pace, whether you're 6 minutes, 5 minutes, those things don't matter. But as you're out there longer or you're heavier, you're not as fast. Those things of doubt can come and play a part in that finish, or you think you're not good enough, or it's not. The conditions aren't conducive for you to finish, right? So to me, you never know who's watching. And I've always kept that in the back of my head. Some people are watching because they want you to fail. They don't want you to be successful. They don't. They either want you to have something horrific happen, they want the gossip, they don't want you to finish, why are you out here? But then you have a lot of other people who are looking because they're like, I don't know that I can do that, but I'm seeing this person who is doing that. And I always keep that in the back of my head. And I think that's why it's always important for me when you talk about that. I always stay, for the most part, when I can, to the last person crosses the finish line. Because I don't think folks really recognize how impactful it is to hear somebody cheering for you. A lot of people that are in the back of the pack don't have family members or friends that are there. So when you have a stranger that is telling you you can do it, or you've got it, or you can do this, or whatever those things are, it lets them know that that finish, regardless of where it comes in, you got it in you to finish it through. And that's always been really prevalent to me, is that I'm never gonna win a race. I'm never gonna podium. I'm never gonna be on the top of the podium. None of those things are probably ever happened to me unless I go to a race in a small town and I'm like the only person in my age group, right? But what I can do is ensure that regardless of how I show up, that I did show up, and then I just do whatever I can, and you have a good time while you're doing it. And I think that's really what's important in all of it. You're not doing it for anybody else.
Yeah.
You got to do it for you. And once you realize it's about you and how you think about things and what you set forth for your goal, then the finish is immediate. It's going to happen, whether you try to make it or not, because you want to get it done.
Yeah.
So I said that was a very long-winded.
No, but that's perfect, because you've always created a space for those that is not always glorified or not properly recognized. Because I say it all the time. 26 miles, 13 miles, 5K. 5K is a 5K no matter where it is, no matter who does it. It's more 5Ks than doing none at all.
That's right.
And a lot of times it's the flashy thing. There's always a perspective around running and walking to where you have to be fast or you have to be that. But you've always created a space not only for yourself but for others finishing across the line, that there is somebody there that
recognizes that, right? Like, you put in the same amount of work. There's a group of young ladies that they're in Atlanta. I think another young lady is in California, and obviously, there's LaToya Snell, and there's a lot of other running influencers that obviously are bigger voices than me, right? So I don't have that same kind of platform. But I say all of that to say there are more of us than what people recognize. And so there are more of us that are in the back of the pack necessarily, or even they want to call the middle. There are more of us that are 14 and slower than there are sometimes that are faster paced. And I always tell people, you're not slow. When I did it, I was blessed enough that I got to meet Allie from and do an interview with.
Wow.
And when she did an interview, one of the things I said is, you're just, it's not that you're slow. You might be slower paced than somebody else, but you're not slow, right?
Yeah.
Like don't say like, I'm too slow to do this or I can't do it. But it's all relative. I'm rambling, but I think what I'm trying to get across is that there are a lot more of us out there that have like these slower paces, right? And you just got to find your community. And I think because there's so many keyboard bullies that are out there that want to talk a bunch of crap about people, and that's the part that's hard. And I'm going to talk about my store, even though I love my store. I love my store to death. But most of the running stores, we have people that say that, you're too big. Why are you out there? You're fat. You can't do this. You're so slow. But then you see somebody out there that's trying to actually put in the work, and then you demean them because they're not as fast as you, right? But then we come to these stores and they don't buy sizes for us, right? They don't buy sizes for women that are thick like me. Not everybody has what is considered to be a runner's body. That's not what most of us look like. If truth being told, that's not what most of us look like. I'm not wearing any 3-inch shorts. I mean, I could. It probably wouldn't be good for anybody if I did that. But what I'm saying is, even the industry itself kind of shuns us in its own way because there aren't a lot of options out there for us. So we want to go out, we want to walk, we want to run, we want to be healthy, but you're not even giving us the options to find clothing that we can do those things, right? So I think if more people see that there's somebody out there that's rooting for them that's just like them, I am no better or no worse. We are all the same. Yeah. That 13.1 that you finished at 4 hours or 4 hours plus is no different than the 13.1 that somebody did in an hour and 15 minutes.
Exactly that.
It's not. You both had similar struggles in different ways.
You get the same medal.
You get the same medal. And as cliche as it is, I mean, I paid $100 and some for that race. Shit, I'm enjoying every last bit of that course. You're gonna get all your tax dollars worth. We're gonna take every single station. But the irony to that is all the stuff is gone by the time we come through, right? It's all gone. None of it's there. Nobody recognizes that part of it. So when I did Chicago, I started out great. I was too busy videotaping. Next thing I know, I look back at mile 14 or 15. I'm like, oh, shoot. That's a truck. Several trucks. What's happening? But I say all that to say, so everybody's like, well, did you get to see, Chinatown? Did you get to see this? No, actually, I didn't. I mean, I saw it, but nobody was there. There wasn't anybody on the street still. But what I will say is that at certain spots, right, there was somebody who, she didn't have anybody running the race, but there's a woman and her sister, and they had biofreeze. And they were just spraying people with biofreeze, right? There were two black running groups, and they still had snacks out. There was another person on the street who just happened to be passing out salt, right? So, and I say all those things to say is that those are things that I understand that the cities have to pay tax. They have to pay for the streets to be closed down, and the police officers and the safety. And I get all of that.
Yeah.
But what I wish that some people would do is to come back out. Come back out. And I realize you're tired, and I realize that you hurt. I get all of that. But if you even have friends, somebody, anybody, just come back out, because you never know how that will inspire somebody else to keep going. And I don't know if people saw my story. I ran Brooklyn, and I was injured. I was having a hard time. My training didn't go the way that I wanted it to go. And I was waiting for this hill, child. They kept telling me, oh my God, this hill. And I'm like, well, where's this hill? It's in the park. And I'm like, well, where's this hill coming? I'm going through the park. I'm like, where's this hill? So we're going out. They're like, well, you already did it. And I was like, what you mean? Like that was nothing. I'm used to flying pig kind of hills, right?
That's a whole nother hill.
That's a whole nother hill. But I say all that to say, so as we're finishing, like it was all open. And then we're going through, it's like, I think it's kind of like a Hasidic neighborhood.
Yeah.
But it's all concrete, all open. They're still going to church, going across the street. Like, they don't realize that there's race, because I'm in the back, right?
Yeah.
And probably about mile 9, 10, I don't know, 8, 9, I don't know. Here's what I do know. I don't want to do that shit no more, excuse my language. I didn't want to do it. I'm done with all of this. I've got nothing to prove with anybody. But Runner's World got me there. And I started, and my father was diagnosed with cancer. I told you, if you made me cry. When I did my first full, my father was sick, and I didn't make it. But he came out to see me, and he wanted to travel with me to do New York.
Wow.
And he wasn't able to do it, right? So, Ohio Health has these bracelets for cancer, that they brought out a little while ago about keep making plans. Once you've been diagnosed, you got to keep making plans, right? So I say all of that. So he wasn't able to come. And so I was like, well, you know what? My dad's got cancer. He's got stage 4 metastatic prostate cancer, and it's metastasized. And it has not been great the last year. But I'm like, if he's still going, who am I? Who am I to quit, right?
Yeah.
So you talk about finish.
Yeah.
I didn't want to finish, but my dad's finish would be his end, literally.
Yeah.
And so who am I to take this gift that I have of still being able to walk or run?
Yeah.
I couldn't do either. I didn't feel like doing it. Do you hear me? I don't want to do nothing. My walk run was trash. These kids had scooters. I was like, can I get on that scooter, baby? But I say all of that to say, at the last mile, Ray Walker came out of nowhere. And I mean nowhere. Like a thief in the night.
From the shadows.
Out of the shadows of the earth. But why that's important is Ray and I mean, we met here. He knew I was coming. He said he had tried to look for me. Ray's, he's a speedy runner. He's amazing at what he does. He came back out and he found me when I was like, F it. F it all. I don't care anymore. I need to understand, I was a mile away.
Wow.
From the finish. and I don't want to do it no more. And so I had my dad on my head, and then here comes Ray with this. All of a sudden I was like, who?
You about to have me cry. Go ahead. So
I was like, wait, who is this? Wait, what? And the amount of joy that came from that, and him just, anyway, you just never know when somebody's gonna be there to help you. And I say all that to say, because I'm used to doing that for other people.
I was about to say, you're saying things that you do yourself.
I haven't gotten that. And of course, there's that. Turn that off. That's so tacky.
That's fine.
I don't get that for the most part. I don't. But I make sure that I do it for other people.
Yeah.
And so to have that for me, I can't even explain what that was. And he took me in the rest of the way.
Wow.
You know, I'm always like, when people are crossing the finish line, I always try to stay back because I want that to be their moment. I'll tell them, hey, like, you know, I worked the split at the Columbus Marathon, and I see people that, you know, either for the full or the half, and they're struggling.
Yeah.
And I'll walk up there, I'll run with them, so whatever you need, I'll get them to the finish line. And I'm like, hey, look, stand up, camera. Look, stand up, camera. I don't want you looking dead in these pictures. But then when they come, but I stand away.
Yeah.
The reason why I'm bringing that up is I wanted Ray in my picture. And I looked back and he was gone. Not gone, but he had stepped aside. Yeah. But I wanted him there because he knows now. But he helped me to get to that finish. And I want other people to recognize that for those of us that are in the back, it's little things like that. I mean, there were still people around the pier, which was pretty nice because then they're cheering me in. Yeah. So guess what that gives us? That gives us energy, right? That makes us want to like, oh, well, shoot, I can do this because you have all that self-doubt and that negative talk that's in your head. And then you have somebody that's there for you. And then you have people like cheering for you. And even though you're at the back, you don't give a damn about that because you found it within you to finish. So you know what? I will always, I have not broken a 3:30 in a long time. My body's just not there anymore. You know, my knees are bad. I had pelvic fractures, so I've got issues with up here. But every day I get out there and I still do something. And even if I'm at the back, I'm gonna have a good time while I'm doing it. And if you're at the back, I'm gonna make sure that I'm there to celebrate your achievement as long as I can possibly be there. You know, if I have to leave, I'll leave. But for the most part, for most races, I'm there till the end because I know what it's like. I know what it's like in Chicago. I can't think what her name is. Kelly. Oh my God, it's there. But anyway, they were at the end. I was about to finish. And I saw them like, man, forget finish line. Can I take a picture with y'all? I say all that to say that seeing them and cheering because they were there, it helped me want to finish. And I just want people to understand that. Think about how it feels for you when people are like, ooh, Superman. Look at Superman. Ooh, Superman. I love Superman. Go, Superman, go. Love. But at the end of the day, even though you're like a 7-minute miler,
no, we're not talking about my picture.
You don't hear that stuff necessarily.
Yeah.
But I mean, my point is, but you know it's out there, right? We feel the same way. You know, people in the back feel the same way. And I'm rambling, but I really just want to create an environment in which those people who feel like they're too slow, or they make excuses for their pace, or whatever those things are, you're out here. What's the excuse? The only excuse you have is if you didn't take a shower in the morning, you stink.
Musty.
Your musty butt came to this finish line. Oh, stank self. No. Other than that, you have no excuses to make. And I want people to know I'm glad you're here, and I'm glad you put forth the effort. And at the end of the day, your medal is no less valuable than the person that got first, second, or third.
That's true. That's true. Well, you know, I've always told you have a story, and this is, I know, right? But it's really, there's things that you brought to my perspective that, you know, a lot of us may not even think about the different disparities that are provided to those who are in the back of the pack or those who are bigger size or slower. And that always isn't, I can say even for myself sometimes, I'll try to go back, but I may not stay the entire time because I'm tired, but it's a sacrifice. Because at the same time, I know how it makes me feel, but it's good to us remember that the entire crowd feels that way. And I think for your story clearly touches people. And the fact that, you know, in all things said and done, we all have our different journeys, we all have our different experiences, but you go out there and things that you start, you finish till the end. And the most important part that I like about it and respect for you is that you don't just do that for you. You say that it's, you know, we do things, running is individual, sure, but the fact that you're saying things that you do yourself speaks very highly of your character and how you treat the people in that. Because I know plenty of races here locally where I know the last finisher's coming through and you're right there with your camera or your phone and you're hyped as ever because you give them the same things that you ask for.
I appreciate you saying that. And I don't do it for the attention, right?
You never have.
I want people to really, I want them to be happy. I think that's a blessing and a curse.
I'd say more blessing. That's the servant's heart. That's what that comes into.
It is. You know, some people won't think I have one, but baby, I do. Now, once you get on the non-servant side, the side that didn't go to church on Sunday, oh,
the Holy Ghost spill over
there. There ain't no listen. It ain't holy, and there definitely ain't no ghost, baby. No. But I definitely appreciate that, and I think my word for everybody is just that if you started it, not that you have to finish, but you can. But you gotta want it for you. You can't worry about anybody else. And I think earlier in my life, pre-COVID, I was worried about everybody else. I really was. Post-COVID, I don't care. It's gonna be what it's gonna be, and I'm gonna have a good time. I'm gonna make sure everybody else that's out there with me, we're gonna have a good time while we're out here. So I appreciate you. And I told you made me cry. I was gonna get you the trachea. I told you that, like right.
You know you're
right
my dog,
here.
but I
Right
appreciate
here.
you bringing it in. Oh, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
No, I appreciate you.
My husband might be watching.
Oh my God.
You met all those people, and you met all the people that I want to meet on the marathon. I'm like, they might be following you now. Like, hey, boo. Hi, husband. We both have gum in our mouth. That's hilarious. Listen, you already know I did that daggone video with